Hey, hey, it's your girl, Rosalind. How's everybody doing? Um, I just wanted to come on real quick because I haven't been on in a little while. And this is going to go under it might go under my caregiving playlist. It might go under my chemo playlist. Because it's kind of a mix of both. So basically, what I talk about is specifically my experience. I just post it to see if it helps anybody who might be going under the same circumstances. I am not a medical professional, I'm not a legal professional, and I'm not an accounting professional. So, this is not, please don't consider this any type of truly professional advice. I encourage people to seek out those professionals who are licensed and qualified if you have specific questions concerning your medical care or your caregiving experience. So, that being said, welcome. And what I wanted to talk about today might seem a little bit morbid, but it really isn't. Um, so how do I do this? Okay, cut to the chase. I occasionally have dreams, and no, I'm not into that whole dream thing. I'm not a mystic or anything like that. I'm just expressing. I have had dreams where, um, those of you who know the show Doctor Who, you'll get it. I had a dream a few years ago before my hysterectomy, before which is major surgery. I had a dream that I was in the TARDIS with I think the 11th Doctor, played by Matt Smith, and I was leaving the TARDIS, and he said, "You're going to be fine. You're going to have a great life. Go get him." And I wake up, and it was shortly before I had my hysterectomy. And I haven't had that kind of dream since in a long time. And usually when I have dreams like that, I wake up uneasy because I realize it's my body telling me something is wrong, and it's reaching into my subconscious and saying, take care of this. And that's why I end up having the dream that I had. Well, fast forward a couple of years, and so sorry about that. I had to take care of something. So fast forward a few years, and I think I mentioned this. I was taken off my current chemo medication, the one that I take at home. I was off of it for about a month because I was having some strange side effects. So they wanted to get clearance and just to confirm that it's a side effect. And I did. I got confirmed last week. I went to the other specialist, and he said, yes, you can go back on your medication. It's some type of, I'm getting swelling in one of my legs, and I can't pronounce the word, but it's like a vascularitis or something like that. So it's basically irritation and swelling. So they cleared me to restart my medication. So I did. I still restarted my medication. And let's see, today's Thursday. So Tuesday night, the night before I went back for my regular chemo at the hospital, I had another Doctor Who dream. And this time it was David Tennant, the 10th Doctor. And I'm riding in the TARDIS and whatnot, and he gives me a hug. And he said, don't leave. And I said, I will stay as long as I can. And he says, go have your life. and I leave the TARDIS, I wake up. Now, I realize this is now the second time I've been told this. Go have your life. Stay as long as you can. So I'm thinking, okay, my body's trying to tell me something. But I had already restarted my medication. So I go in for my regular chemo. They're now giving me my chemotherapy by injection. I don't do the IV anymore, which is an odd feeling, but it worked out. It was fine. I have a little rash, but that's about it. And I get home, and of course, when you go for chemotherapy, they do all your blood work to make sure you're clear to have the medication. So I'm waiting. My results are coming in, and it's the usual. Some results are actually better than I expected. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm waiting. Da 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 da. So before I went to bed last night, my thing goes off. Oh, you have a result. I'm like, why are they sending this to me so late? Because it's after 6 o'clock. So I go to look at it, and my CA-125, which is my cancer marker test, went up. Not much. I mean, previously it was a 5, which is almost completely gone as far as cancer is concerned. It went from a 5 to a 9. I'm like, no, 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 no. We're not going into double digits. We're going to get this back down again. But I have, in my opinion, the dream was telling me to get back on the medication. So I'm back on it, and so far so good, no problems. I discussed it with the nurse practitioner yesterday. I let them know what was going on when I was on it and then when I was off of it. But I think my body was warning me, get back on this medication, get back on it. So, and as I said, I'm back on it. So I expect that score to go back down by the time my next treatment comes around. But that's like the biological part of it. Then there's the emotional part of it. And not only did I get the impression that it was a warning, medically it was a warning, it's also an emotional warning. Like, do something. Enjoy your life. That was something the chaplain, my mother's hospice chaplain, had said to me too on her last visit with mom. She had said, the end is near. You're going to need to grieve. You're going to need to do all of this stuff, which reminds me, I never did do the bereavement. I never did the bereavement counseling. Oh, it's just too many appointments, y'all. Too many appointments between my brother needing his stuff, which is going to be a whole other thing, because now he needs to see a specialist for his thyroid. And he might need surgery. So that's going to be a whole other issue. We just got past his eye problem, and now he has a thyroid problem. And I still have my stuff to do. So it's been appointment after appointment after appointment. So, next week I said we're not going to have any appointments next week. We just going to have a normal week. I can't keep making appointments. Anyway, so I just got this feeling that, okay, what do I want to do before I can't do anything anymore? And I came up with a couple of things. One, which I think I can do fairly quickly, is get my new studio together. Moving things out of the office space and putting it in my mother's bedroom. Or I may move some things down here into my mother's workroom. I haven't decided yet. I can do that once I start. I can do it fairly quickly. The other thing, I would love to see the Grand Canyon one more time. I went out there in 20, I want to say 2010. Let's see, I went to Germany in 2009. So yeah, I think it was 2010. Um or no, actually it might have been 20, maybe 2008, 2008. I went out there. Traveled solo, just me. I booked my stuff. I used Expedia, for those of you who remember Expedia. I think they're still around. I used Expedia, booked everything, went out there. I was gone maybe not even a week. I think it was just 5 days. And thoroughly enjoyed it. I rented a car. I drove around, saw the Red Rocks. Um, I went to the chapel in the that's built into the mountain. I went there, and it's a Catholic church, and I went there. I tried to go to a bead store that was out there, but they were closed the day I went. And I had a facial and a massage, and that whole red rock energy thing. But the highlight was I took a guided tour to the Grand Canyon. It was like a half day because I was already in Sedona, so it wasn't that long. It was just about a half day, and went out early in the morning. They picked me up, and it was a bunch of us on a little bus, and we took the little bus. We were driving up, and when we got there, the tour guide knew I was solo. I think I was like the first or second person he picked up on the route. And so we were talking, and I said, "No, it's just me. I'm traveling solo. I've done it. I've traveled solo before, never had a problem." And so he kind of, and then the other people, I think the other people were like, it was a group, like a family or something. So we get there, and it blew me away. It was the most amazing trip I ever had. Um, and the tour guide was slick. He knew I was on my own, so he was like, "Stand here, let me take a picture. Stand over here, I'm gonna take a picture." And some of the places he had me stand, I was like, "Are you sure you want me to stand here?" Cause you one wrong move and it's over. But he knew what he was doing, and it's some of my best trip pictures he took for me. And I had my hiking shoes on. I was ready. And saw a coyote, the whole bit. It was a blast, and it was amazing to see one side with the Colorado River running along, and then we drove around to the other side where the main visitor center is, and that also was like an amazing place to he had me stand in this precarious spot and took pictures. um but it there's no describing it. It just the expanse of it all. It makes you, it's like, this is a very big world, and I am a very small cog in this very big world. um and I would love to go through that again. I would love to see, and if I can, I'll squeeze in and go over to California, because I've never seen the Pacific Ocean. So I would like to do that. Go to California, see the Pacific Ocean, take some pictures on the beach, and make my way back to New York. um, so that's what I would like to do. And honestly, as far as travel, when I was younger and getting out of college and actually working full time and could save money to go places, I've been on cruises. I've done a bunch of road trips. I used to go to Baltimore 2-3 times a year. I've been to Albany. I've been up and down the Eastern Seaboard. Sometimes a bunch of us I would drive, and my girlfriends would jump in the car and throw money for gas, and we just go driving. So I've done a lot. I've been to Vegas separately from the Grand Canyon. I've also been to Vegas, and solo, did it solo. Met some really nice people. That I saw the Star Trek exhibit. This is when the Star Trek exhibit at that I think it was the Hilton back then, with the bar, and you walk through and they had the little ride and stuff like that. That's when I was in Vegas. And it's gone now. It's closed, but and again, solo travel. I just like, you know what? Here's my hotel. Blah 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 blah. Here we go, and off I went. And my bead shows. I'm taking classes, so I've done my fair bit of traveling about. But that, going back to the Grand Canyon and maybe popping over to California, I think that would be the one big trip I would like to do before, God forbid, I can't travel anymore. Now, I'm not assuming the worst, but I'm being realistic. And that's one of the things a lot of us kind of need to be realistic. Hopeful, but realistic. Um, it may come a time where I can't travel. Um, or maybe I can, I'll make it to 95 like my mom did, and I'll just do my thing. I still have my brother to worry about. Well, not worry about, to take care of. And he's been stepping up a lot despite the autism. He's been like doing chores without being asked. He's been doing stuff and not telling me, which I kind of have to remind him, let me know, because you gotta put the wash machine on a certain speed. But hey, um, he's trying. He gets it. But still, for me to do that kind of a trip, I would either have to take him with me, which ain't gonna happen. He's not getting on the plane. Or I would have to make some kind of crazy arrangements to either have someone in the house with him, or do like I did with mom, do a 5-day respite and have him stay at a group home for a few days, or God forbid, well, actually, he'd probably be okay in a nursing home. All he needs is all he needs is Netflix. All he needs is Wi-Fi, and they feed him 2-3 times a day, give him Wi-Fi and a bed to sleep on. He'll probably be okay. But still, but that those dreams made me think, and I think that's something those of us who are battling it, or just getting into remission, like finally, like, okay, everything's under control for now, need to think about it. How do we get the most out of a life with the limitations that we have? That's the question. And I'm curious to see what some of you guys think. So that's where I'm at. I'm not sad. I'm not upset. I'm not resentful, but I'm it does that kind of subconscious wake up call. It does make me take a step back and go, oh, shoot. Um what if? So, anyhow, that's where I'm at. And yes, there's the practical stuff that I still need to do. Get my affairs in order. My brother's affairs are almost in order. I still have to do stuff for both of us. I'm still settling my mother's stuff. pain in the neck. But, you know, and maybe that's what triggered the dream. Maybe, once I get everything settled, this will, you know, this recurring dream won't recur for a while. Who's to say? But I'm curious. Hit me up in the comments. Respectful comments and questions are always welcome. You can follow me on Instagram, ShyRosalindNDB. If you're in the mood and you want to send me a Cash App, my Cash App is in the description, but it's not necessary. I will be doing a beat and chat hopefully this weekend because I'm about to finish the custom order I received and I'm getting ready to ship it out. So I will be putting that project together this weekend. So I will let you guys see how it goes. And thank you for watching. And thank you for following. I appreciate all my subscribers. Yes, I do. And if you're in the mood, if you know someone who's going through the caregiving process and, you think my little videos, or someone who's going through the chemo life and you think my little videos might be helpful or comforting, please share them. This is why I do this stuff. I want to share my experience to hopefully help somebody else. So that's it. Thank y'all for watching. Have a great day. If you're in amongst the heat, try and stay cool. If you're up in Canada, I'm praying for y'all because I know I can see the haze coming down to New York, y'all. I know it's rough, and my prayers are with those who are up there. And that's it. I might do another notes in the audience because the church beef sector, they flaring up again. The high school shenanigans are once again about to start. But I'll talk about that separately. Y'all have a good day. I'll catch you on the next one.